Okay, guys. Injury-wise, guys that will not participate today: Cooper Kupp, Coleman Shelton, Quentin Lake, Larry Murchison, and Rob Havenstein. That is just for just a veteran rest day. All the other guys, we're hoping that they end up turning over, and then those are the guys that'll be off today. It's good. I mean, he's feeling good. We're gonna hold him out today. We'll see what tomorrow looks like.
What about is Kyren Williams going to be practicing today?
Yes, he'll be full. He looked like he was full speed in the walkthrough just now, so he's feeling good. He's excited to be back. We're glad to have him back.
Is there anything? I mean, do you kind of, if he's coming off IR, I know he's ready, but do you kind of have to do anything to kind of ease him back in, or is it just go?
I think you want to be smart about it. I think you want to be able to try to simulate some drills, without the risk of injury, to be able to just get him back to some of the things that, are going to occur on Sunday. And, you can't ever truly simulate those things, Gary, but it wasn't like it was too long ago. You certainly don't take anything for granted, but if he's feeling good, we want him to be able to have a normal workload. And I know he's excited to be back, and his teammates are excited to have him. Puka he's going to just be limited today. So he'll be limited today. Yeah, he's doing good, though. Ronnie's doing good, Sarah. I saw Ronnie, talk to him for a little bit in the training room. He's making progress, not quite ready to start his window yet, but it's going to hopefully be here sooner than later.
What went into the decision? I know it's a numbers game, but to release Darrell?
That was really it. We'll try to get him back here on the practice squad. Thought he did a nice job, and really, it was great to be able to have him back in here. Royce and Zach have both kind of contributed on special teams and done some things in that arena. And, Kyren had been our starting running back. So he came in, because of some of those injuries, did a really good job. And we still want to be able to have him around, but it was just purely numbers.
When you see Kyler Murray on tape, as long as you've been around football, does it surprise you at all that he had full ACL surgery in January?
Yeah, it's really impressive. I know, just from afar, just seeing the work that he put in, and it's a real credit to him, his rehab program, their trainers, everybody that was involved in that. But he's looked really good in the 2 games since he's been back. He brings an element that you can't coach. You can see it. It ups the level of play around him, and he certainly is a very dangerous player in a lot of different facets. So it's impressive for him to be out there and compete in the way that he is. And I know just since his rookie year, he's always been a problem, and it's a great challenge for us.
DK had a couple of rough weeks prior to the bye. Did you see anything coming back from that kind of gave you an idea he might be ready to take on a little bit more?
I think just the response. I give a huge amount of credit to Aubrey Pleasant. I think the way that he positively pushes guys, keeping them accountable, still being able to put his arm around guys while making sure, hey, let's learn from these things and let's come back better and let's just take it a day at a time. And that's exactly what he did. Love the way that he prepared. He played minimal snaps against Green Bay, but the snaps that he did play, he did a really good job. He's practiced the right way. He's been on the screws in the meetings, and then, when he got his opportunity to be able to get back out there, I thought he probably played his most complete game as a Ram. Now, let's see if we can continue to build on it, want to be consistent, but really happy for him, and I think a huge amount of credit, to him first and foremost, but also to Aubrey Pleasant and the leadership that he provides really for that group as a whole, and his ability to be able to positively push people and help them work through things that are a natural part of this game.
You praise your assistants a lot, but given what the defense has done this year with the talent that you lost in the offseason and the way that people outside the room thought that you might play this year, what has Raheem done this year that has made you guys so competitive on defense when there were a lot of signs that you might not be as competitive as?
I think teach and develop and have flexibility. I think continue to really be able to identify guys. You guys asked about it earlier in the week, just being able to utilize everybody that has a jersey, but I think Raheem's leadership, his ability to be able to connect and collaborate with his coaches, with the players, and they've done a really good job. And I think you're seeing a lot of guys get better, Greg. They're accumulating experience. I thought some of these guys were able to do that towards the latter part of last year because of all the injuries that we ended up having. But you talk about every single defensive assistant coach, everybody on that side of the ball. You talk about Raheem's leadership, the players. It's really been awesome to see. And now let's continue to build on it. Let's continue to grow. But I think everybody's probably surprised except for people in this building, and these are the types of things that you see on a consistent basis. But, like you mentioned, Raheem and the coaches deserve a tremendous amount of credit, but also those players. And, it's awesome to be able to work with them every day and see them continue to take steps in the right direction.
When we asked you about Puka at the start of the season, you described him as one of the more mature rookies you've been around. Even though he came in with that maturity, how have you seen him grow since the start of the season?
I just think the consistency that he's played with, the toughness, the play energy, his ability to be able to, just handle the ebbs and flows and all the different things that we put on him, Sarah, make crunch time plays when we have to be able to have it. But his production, both in the run and in the pass game, is incredible. And, and then just the body of work that he's had, through a handful of games. And, you see him just continuing to do things that continue to surprise you. But I think that maturity is probably a pretty appropriate thing that we've seen. He plays like a grown man, but he's got a great humility. You've seen the same exact, incredible person and somebody that just wants to continue to learn, whether it's asking Cooper Kupp, whether it's talking to Matthew, whether it's talking to the coaches, and incredibly high football character. You see a lot of ability, a lot of toughness, and I think he brings a physical presence to our offense that is a tremendous asset and value.
Sean, what's the challenge in, I guess, not taking that away? That's something that's clearly a strength of his, while also making sure it doesn't expose him to unique availability.
I think that's a good question, man. I don't have the answer quite yet. I think you want to, continue to allow his greatest traits to come to life, but be smart about how that's reflected. And he's a guy that's, taken, now he's delivering a lot of, punishment himself, but that takes a toll on you. And I've been really impressed with just his ability to, be a pro about, getting his body turned over week in and week out. But through a 17-game season, and then, if you're fortunate enough to be able to earn opportunities to play after that, those are things that, we talk about. And then we've got some depth in that receiver group that I thought was reflected last week, where can supplement, all of those guys, and not just Puka, but, getting some other guys on the grass and being able to keep them fresher throughout the course of a game, but also a season are things that we've talked about.
You picked up Kevin Dotson after preseason.
Yep.
He's been grading out as one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL by the guys who grade those things. I asked him about that. He said, I don't even know what they're looking at, so I can't say whether I'm one of the best offensive linemen or not. What has he done for you? What's been your overall impression of the way he's molded into this team and taken over an important role pretty quick?
I think he's done a really good job, Greg. I think it starts with, when he first gets an opportunity earlier in the season, obviously a big physical presence, good production in the run game. I think he's really improved in pass protection, being able to work in unison and in coordination with, the tackles and the center, because there's a lot of different things that take place, whether it's in protection in the run game, there's moving parts post-snap. But I think he's really endeared himself to his teammates. He's got a nice way about himself. He has played really productive. I thought he played his most complete game last week. The goal is let's just continue to take steps. Let's keep getting better. But very similar to Puka, I think there's a physicality, there's a toughness that he brings. That was apparent when you watched this tape in Pittsburgh with all the, the work that he got there, playing really at both guard spots. But we've been really pleased with him.
I know you guys are going to be having a walkthrough and whatnot, but any plans for Thanksgiving with your family?
Really, it's, you always get a chance to be able to spend some quality time. My family, it'll be me, Veronica, and little man, but it is, he keeps her busy, I'll tell you that much, and then I come home and, he just kind of just staring at you, and then he's ready to go to bed, and so it'll be good just to be able to have some time. I always enjoy watching some football, spending some time with the coaches, but it's always kind of a special holiday. Football and Thanksgiving just always go together. That's kind of just been a part of my life. But, we'll hopefully have, good work tomorrow morning and then be able to enjoy the day and see some good games as well. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Took the day off, huh? Just kidding.
I know you spent a lot of time with Puka, obviously, this season.
With who? I'm sorry.
Puka?
Yep.
How have you seen him grow from when you first met him to now what he's doing now?
Similar to what I think I said, I feel like 4 or 5 weeks ago, just how much more comfortable he is just with the terminology, just the speed of this game. He's a football player in its truest form. You know, he loves going out there competing. He loves having the ball in his hands, obviously, and scoring touchdowns, but he loves the physical contact aspect of this, what this game brings to him too. You know, like he needs that in his life, you can tell. But he's a joy to be around every single day. He brings it every single day. He pours his body and heart out for his teammates on the practice field and on Sunday. So we're lucky to have him.
Is there a moment, when you think about his physicality, is there a moment on the field or like during game or practice that stands out to you?
You know, yeah, it could happen on any particular play with the ball in his hands or not, but it's really when I go home at night, particularly on the home games, I like to rewatch the TV copy just to see what I can pick up in terms of just kind of how it looks from everyone else watching it at home. And when they zoom in on him and his face looks like he's in a certain zone that not a lot of people can get into, you know, and you can feel that on game day, but it's cool to stamp that when you get home on Sundays to see that that's where he's really at.
Is there anything over the course of the season that he's been able to do that maybe you didn't anticipate during training camp and stuff that he's shown you that he can do?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he showed us kind of a lot. And again, I say he showed his teammates, he showed the coaches, he showed the organization that this game wasn't going to be too big for him. But you never know until you get out to Sundays, right? And because it's just different. And when the lights are on, it seems like that's when he performs his best, you know. So, again, there's a lot more out there for him. He's going to continue to improve. He's going to continue to, understand how to get through a grueling 17-game season plus preseason plus a training camp, because that's for him and his play style, let alone any rookie. It's a long year, you know, and that bye week, served him well at the time it did, and he's ready for the stretch run.
What will you hope to add with the return of Kyren Williams to the offense?
Yeah, I mean, you go back to his last game, and it was arguably, his best game in terms of obviously statistically. But not only that, I mean, he got the stats of it, but he did it because he was just, it was textbook in terms of how to set up blocks within the run game. You know, so not only was he breaking tackles and stuff, and say it was blocked for 4 and he was getting sick, well, it was blocked for 6, and he was finding a way to get 16, 18, and all that. And a lot of it was just how he was setting up those blocks and staying away from contact. So he brings an element of, explosiveness that, it'll be good to get him back there. And then, obviously, just the juice he brings on top of that. His play style, it's contagious. You can feel it on the sideline. I believe you probably can feel it from the stands in terms of just the energy that guy plays with.
When you lose a player like Cooper so early in the game, does that change how you evaluate the game film afterwards when Kyren Williams is such a big part of the game plan, things like that?
No, not how you evaluate the game plan. You're always going to evaluate it. Hey, what can we do better? What did we do good? What do we want to carry, moving forward? But I wouldn't say necessarily how you evaluate. You just evaluate each play from a schematic standpoint. Did we put our players in the right position? And whoever, stepped in this case it was Trammell a lot, you evaluate how he did. And I thought he stepped in and did about as good of a job as you could ask for. And you can tell he's played a lot of ball, and it's not too big for him.
When you look at kind of the almost sense of urgency that happened in that game in the fourth quarter, and there was a few kind of tongue-in-cheek jokes about Magic getting hit in the stomach. When you look at the video, what caused that sense of urgency? And can you coach to that?
Yeah, I don't know. Sean was pretty excited about his little punch to the stomach comment or whatever he had. He was real excited about that one after. But no, I don't know. It's as long as number 9's in the fight, you got a shot. And he took a good shot right there. And when we needed him to play his best ball, he did. And the thing for Matthew is we all know how talented he is. We all know he can make any throw. Hey, play each play as its own, no matter who's out there, when we're out there, what the score is, whether we're up, whether we're down. Just continue to play each play as it is. And you know what, your special talents are going to come out. And he had some opportunities there in the fourth quarter to make some big-time plays. And guys made some big-time plays for him. So it was cool. You're never going to apologize for a win. Obviously, there's a lot lot of things that we need to get corrected on an offensive perspective. Our defense kept us in that fight. 9 stayed in the fight, and then everyone followed suit, and luckily we were able to, come away with that W.
Is there anything that surprises you at this point about the way Matthew bounces back from those hits?
No, it's just an ultra competitor, So I know that's how he is, obviously on the field, and even in practice. I mean, he's extremely. We had a really cool Thursday practice last week. It wasn't our most perfect practice. You're getting guys back. You're coming back from a bye week. It's not an excuse. It's just what happened, and it was kind of that game was really. Very similar to how that practice went, where guys were battling, and so for Matthew, you're never surprised on the football field. I'm excited for the off season to get on a tennis court with him and see if he still has that same kind of battling in there. I'm sure he does. He'll kick my butt, obviously.
It's been like having Carson here and kind of getting him up to speed.
Yeah, he's been a joy to work with. Again, he's a guy that obviously has played a lot of good ball and a lot of high level ball. So it's he's been you could tell he's all in. You could just see. It's kind of within the game. You watch the sideline a little bit too from our copy on a Monday just to see how people's reactions are, good and bad, and all that. You could tell how invested he was, not only just for the Rams but for Matthew. You could tell he has his back, and that's just kind of the brotherhood that you have within a locker room as players. So that was real cool, and I know him and Zach are. They're with each other 25 hours a day right now, making sure that that he's ready to go if his number has to be called.
Growing up with football your whole life, do you have a unique Thanksgiving football-related memory?
Gosh, not like just one specific memory. I grew up in college football back when they played 11 games and didn't have 4 million bowl games, right? When my dad was at Central Michigan, and it was different back then. Like, it was the MAC, but like not every game was on TV, so like those places were jammed on Saturdays, and we didn't know there was anything bigger than Central Michigan football or Michigan State, So, but by then it was the last week of the season, so there was some good times then. And then, as I kind of grew up, the high school state championships were always over the Thanksgiving weekend in Michigan, and that was something that we always did. I mean, we were always going to be there for all 8 games down at the Silver Dome initially, then Ford Field after that. So, I mean, Thanksgiving, it's a special time, obviously, but if you're a football fan, like I think we all are, it's pretty cool for all ages. Thanks, guys. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Thank you.